Stalko, 17 great-grandchildren with 7 great-great-grandchildren. In addition to her parents, Martha was preceded to death by her husband at 56 years, her sister, Irma McCarter.
I like your hair darker color.
What? So the rest of us are left to mourn her passing and celebrate her life. I live with strength and determination, which obviously I just showed you how to do. So now we will, did everybody get a card? Okay. So now we will have music from Matt Hill and his wife. I'm sorry? Katie. Thank you.
I come to the garden alone, while the dew is still on the roses, and the voice I hear falling on my ear, the Son of God discloses. And he walks with me, and he talks with me, and he tells me I am his own. And the joy we share as we tarry there, none other has ever known. He speaks, and the sound of his voice is so sweet. The birds hush their singing, and the melody that he gave to me within my heart is ringing. And he walks with me, and he talks with me, and he tells me I am his own. And the joy we share as we tarry there, none other has ever known. And the joy we share as we tarry there, none other has ever known.
Thank you.
Thank you.
At 3 a.m. one night, before Mother passed, she asked me to sing that song to her. And I took a deep breath and said, okay. And I sang it with somebody else's voice. I have no idea where it came from. It was not me at all. She said, I'll sing along with you. She couldn't, she didn't, but we got through that song. Thank you. And so we're here today to honor her life, Martha Alice Kirk. I've always said that different people are different people to different people. And Mother was one of those people. I know that's a confusing thing to think about. Some of you knew her as a friend, a sister, a grandchild, a mother. Dad called her a hair twister because of her beauty shop. She ran her own beauty shop for 30 years and was very forthright about everything she did about her business. One morning I was in the bedroom, and you went through our bedroom door to the shop, and we heard a lady crying and telling a long story of woe. And I went out and looked at Mother and said, "What?" And she goes, "Shh, nothing. She's telling about a soap opera." So, we never knew what was conversations were going on out in that shop. I knew Martha Alice Ferguson as Mother Determined. Fourth year, a woman with a plan on mission, which was usually included Jackie and I with the dust rag in our hands. She taught us to clean well, bobby pins, and when we were finished cleaning, we had those 17 bobby pins, and they would be under couch cushions and chair legs and on top of window sills. Do it right, don't complain. A valuable lesson in work ethic. She had a good work ethic. She knew how to balance and work, games, boating, the lake, Ed Sullivan on TV. She lived through breast cancer, lung cancer. She broke her lower back last June. That didn't slow her down. And finally, broke her hip on November 6th of this year. That finally slowed her down. After a series of setbacks, Jackie and I took her home to her apartment for 8 weeks, and we got a call. It was the Advent season. I have an 86-year-old friend, George. He was my Sunday school teacher, and every morning George sends me a long text, and it's a devotion. And he has things for me to look at and songs to listen to. And during the Advent season, it brought me back to Clear Creek, Indiana, in the church and the Advent wreath that we lit every season. The candles of love, hope, joy, and peace. And 4 fear nots. The whole thing told us that God has a plan. It became very clear to me. God had a solution and a plan for Mom. Here we were at Christmas, and the baby came, and from the cradle to the cross showed us how to live. Finally, what peace would look like. Mother loved to read. One day I came into her apartment and she said, "I finished the Bible today." I said, "You did?" I said, "Well, I don't know that I've ever just read it all the way through. I probably read every word in it, but not all the way through." She said, "Yeah, I read it all the way through. I didn't like how it ended." I said, "Well, Mom, how can you not like how it ended? Jesus has the final victory over death and sin." She goes, I don't know, I just don't know how it ended." I said, "Well, maybe you should talk to him about that when you get there." I think there was too much symbolism and metaphors in the book of Revelation to suit her. We lit a Christmas tree and a candle in the window of Mother's room, and she died as the song Silent Night played. And we all really did understand what peace was. And I should be able to say that without crying. I know that, but it did bring it all the way around and brought it home. That it started with love, then there was hope, then there was joy, and finally peace. And that's what we felt the passing. We're so grateful.
I don't know the last time will be the last time. What But of all the things I had to do, would have stayed a little longer, held on a little tighter. What I'd give for one more day with you. There's a wound here in my heart where something's missing, and they tell me that it's gonna heal with time. But I know you're in a place where all your wounds have been erased, and knowing yours are healed is healing mine. The only scars in heaven, they won't belong to me and you. There'll be no such thing as broken. All the old will be made new. And the thought that makes me smile now, even as the tears fall down, is that the only scars in heaven on the hands that hold you now. Though the road you walked was anything but easy, you picked up your share of scars along the way. But now you're standing in the sun. The race is won, pain is all a million miles away. The only scars in heaven, they won't belong to me and you. There'll be no such thing as broken. All the old will be made new. And the thought that makes me smile now, even as the tears fall down, is that the only scars in heaven, yeah, are on the hands that hold you now. Hallelujah, 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 for the hands that hold you now. It's not a day that goes by that I don't see you. You live on in all the better parts of me. Till I'm standing with you in the sun, fight this fight in this race I'll run, till I finally see what you can see. Oh, the only stars in heaven, they won't belong to me and you. There'll be no such thing as broken. All the old will be made new. And the thought that makes me smile now, even as the tears fall down, are the only scars in heaven, yeah, from the hands that hold you now.
Thank you. Me again. I would like to thank my mother for first and foremost giving my sister and myself the Kirk woman gene and showing us how to be strong, independent, can-do women, even though our husbands may not agree. Thank you for letting us name our first dog Jelly and Brad, even though you were going to be out there calling it and acting like a fool. Thank you for supporting me when I punched Jerry Fox in the nose to the fence. You knew I had it under control and you just let it play out. Thank you for enrolling but controversially. Believe it or not, that skill does still come in handy every once in a while. Thank you for showing us how to dress classy by wearing wool suits, nylon, and high heels to IU football games and state fairs. You were in beauty school. We both needed new hair for that. Thank you for stepping in and actually making mine and Julie's aprons for our submission to the 4-H County Fair. We both got purple ribbons. Thank you for teaching us to drive, even though you were laying down in the back seat with your eyes closed. Thank you for riding in the back seat of Dana's Corvair, even though you could see the floor through the floorboard. Thank you for not only supporting me as a pom pet, but making mine and all these other girls pom pet uniforms. Thank you for showing us how to get the last laugh on Dad when he wanted to be the first one to water ski on Lake Lemon in one spring. You pulled him right off the dock and went out about 100 yards and shut the boat down. Thank you for showing us how to pull a prank on your father by coloring his hair ginger red when he was running for sheriff and wanted to look younger. Thank you for showing a Shine Cloud how to make a mean drink and how to wear hee-haw overalls with style. Thank you for showing my sister and I how to stir the gravy and chop the slaw, but nothing else in cooking. Our husbands also thank you for that. Thank you for supporting us with the grandchildren and even coloring your hair purple to entertain them. Thank you for showing us it's never too late to start something new, like you and Dad playing golf at 62. Thank you for supporting me when I took up piano lessons at 56. And you drove 500 miles for my first piano recital, even though I was 56 and the rest were 6. Thank you for getting the saddle at the country club during our 25th wedding anniversary in a dress. Thank you for showing the grandkids how to pee in the sand on the beach while sitting in a beach chair. There's a picture. Thank you for telling Missy and Noah what to do if an intruder sat next to them at the movie theater. Yell fire. Thank you for traveling around the country with me when my job took me somewhere different every week, but only came if it was places she wanted to go. Thank you for leaving your puppy Jackson with us when he got too fat to fly back on the airplane with you. Thank you for supporting our dad and his harebrained ideas, but most importantly, you showed us how to honor our parents. With example, you taught Julie and I how to love each other always and cherish and nurture that relationship. You showed us how to love and cherish those in our lives. And you showed us how to leave this world with dignity and a smile on your face and a lot of chocolate milk. And now, if anyone else would like to say a few words, you're welcome.
So for those of you that don't know me, I am Justin Stolka, son of Julie and Malcolm, and grandson of Martha. So Mom stole a little bit of mine, but that's okay. So Grandma Martha was known by many different names, like Mom said, depending on who you were. So I knew her as Grandma Martha growing up. There are others that knew her as Gigi, others as Martha Ferguson, Martha Kirk. But no matter how you knew her, there were also others that called her other names that we won't mention here because there are kids around. So when you think of Grandma Martha, very few people are going to think of an angel. We'll just put that out there. That's not something that normally comes to mind. No one thought that they might accidentally walk in on her taking her angel wings off her for the evening and accidentally catch her. So that brings us to how we know we were loved by her and how we know where she's going in the end. So Grandma had her own kind of love. Grandma, growing up, I often caught her cheating playing cards with me. But she was playing cards with me, so I felt love. We all felt the love, and she showed it in her own special way. And when it comes to knowing where you're going after you pass, that comes down to your relationship with God between you and Him. No one else can really know how that plays out. However, we can tell by knowing her well enough and knowing how she talked about God, and especially in her end days, I was convinced that she did have a relationship with God. And the Bible tells us in John 3:16, there's really only one stipulation that determines whether we go to heaven or not, and that is our relationship with Him and accepting Jesus as our Lord and Savior. So we all have comfort in knowing that through knowing her, heaven, and she's in a better place now. So when we grieve, we don't really have to grieve for her. She's in a better place. She's in a good place. There's no reason to be upset with where she's at. So when we're grieving, we're really grieving for ourselves, not having her with us anymore. If you skip down to Thessalonians also comforts us in the fact that as a believer, we can grieve with hope. So grieving with hope means we know that, again, we're going to see her again someday, and we know where she's going and we know where we're going. And so that grief is a little different than if you have no faith at all and don't know if you're ever going to see them again. So we can all look forward to playing cards with her one day and catching her cheating. She's probably up there trying to pull one over on God as we speak. And so we should all be comforted in that. Thank you.
Okay, want me to help?
Yeah.
This ought to be good.
Yeah. I didn't plan to speak, but you noticed my phone rang a while ago? That was Martha. I had my phone in my pocket, wasn't moving. That was the police department. My phone had called 911 and they were calling me back. So I figured that was Martha saying,
Okay, Corbin, you're up. Oh, wait, you're down.
I can speak of Mary Jo's getting. I'm Donetta. I'm Jack's sister. Come on, sweetie. What I'm saying is brief enough. I don't need to walk up there. Martha is my sister-in-law. And truth be known, Jack only worried about one man his entire life that Martha would look at and possibly step away from him for. Martha loved shoes. Leroy Rothrock was the shoe salesman in Indiana. And she had a friendly relationship with him that Jack was envious of. He said, that's the only man I ever thought, yeah, I have a little trouble there. But Jack also accommodated her in her love of shoes. He built her a special closet in their bedroom, had 100 slots, if I remember correctly, that she had pull-out slots for all her shoes. Martha was an amazing woman. Mary Jo and I were ring bearer and flower girl at Jack and Martha's wedding. And Martha made our dresses as well. She was an amazing seamstress, made it all look so effortlessly. And like I said, she was my sister-in-law. She still is my sister-in-law. Thank you.
I found this poem. It says, "In our hearts. We thought of you today, but that is nothing new. We thought about you yesterday and days before that too. We think of you in silence. We oft speak your name. Now, all we have are memories and your picture in a frame. Your memory is our keepsake with which we'll never part. God has you in his keeping, but we have you in our hearts." I am Martha's youngest sister, and I have a sister Janet and our brother Kenny. So there used to be 5 of us, now there's 3. I am 11 years younger, and I was 8 years old when Martha got married and left our family home. So Martha was more of an aunt to me than a playmate sister. Our father could be a prankster. So when Martha's boyfriends arrived, Daddy prompted me to sit on their laps, pinch them the back of the neck, and pull the hairs on their arms. They endured my mischief and never ratted me out. Martha and Jack would take me to their newly-wed apartment in Bloomington, in town. And it was such a delight for me. She would cut my hair. I always had a nice haircut. And after she had the 2 girls, Julie and Jackie, I would go to their home in the summer on Church Lane and babysit for them in the summers. After our mother's death in 2006, Martha took up the mantle of the matriarch. We are a fearless and independent leader. Thank you.
So, my name is Corbin Wilson. I am the grandson of Julie Stolkup and the grandson of Malcolm Stolkup. Gigi was my great-grandmother, and before I read this poem, I just want to bring back a little memory for you, and I have a question. Do you remember that chocolate milk toast we have? So the next person that goes, I want you to ask Gigi, how did you drink that? It felt like drinking super glue that had dark chocolate in it. So whoever goes next, please ask. So I'm reading this poem now. In the following poem, Annie Johnson Flake uses the intricate workings of factory machinery to give us a creative picture of God's complete control of all things. In a factory building, there are wheels and gearings. There are cranks, pulleys, belts, either tight or slack. Some are whirling swiftly, some are turning slowly, some are thrusting forward, some are pulling back. Some are smooth and silent, some are rough and noisy. Pounding, rattling, clanking, moving with a jerk in a wild confusion and a seeming chaos. Lifting, pushing, driving, but they do their work. To the smallest cog or gear, together for the purpose planned. And behind the working is a mind controlling and a force directing, and a guiding hand. So all things are worked for the Lord's beloved. Some things might be hurtful if alone they stood. Some might seem to hinder, some might draw us backward. But they work together, and they work for good. all the thwarted longings, all the stern denials, all the contradictions hard to understand, and the force that holds them, speeds them and retards them, stops and starts and guides them, is our Father's hand.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. 'Twas grace that taught my heart to fear, and grace my fears relieved. How precious did that grace appear, the hour I first believed. When we've been there 10,000 years, bright shining as the sun, we've no less days to sing God's praise than when we first begun. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see.
Thank you, each and every one of you, for coming. That's it. Everyone, you put it that way. Yeah.